Hello, am I here? Can you see me? Hey, perfect. I was going to try to use StreamYard to do better with having a picture and all that, but I did not give myself enough time to figure out how that actually works. Unfortunately. Hello, Sarah. Maybe the next time I do this, I will figure it out. I'm still trying to figure out how to do all this kind of stuff. Oh, I'm trying to find a better lighting. Good enough. I miss the music. Hey, Dan, I'm glad that you enjoyed the workout. Yeah, it was really fun. I'm going to do the next one I'm going to do is a 30-minute resistance band workout where I just show resistance band exercises for a while. Well, welcome. By the way, if you guys could like this, not just the heart thing, but actually go wherever you can see it and click like, I'd really appreciate it because that's apparently what all the kids do. So basically, look for the thumbs up and click the thumbs up. That's what I want you to click. All right, we're going to try some questions here. Hey, Terry. Oh, you're in Cooperstown. Oh, that's awesome. I've been to Cooperstown many times, Terry. Megan, hello in New Hampshire. Nancy, nice to see you. Lisa's in New York. It's snowing in New Hampshire. Yikes. It snowed for us here yesterday in beautiful North Dakota. Grandpa, you got some snow in Seattle. You know, one of my favorite times in Seattle was I was there on a Christmas and it was just covered in snow. And I lived downtown. There was no one down there. Seattle in the winter is absolutely beautiful. And hello, Grandpa Gerhard. Hello, everyone. How are you? Hello, Callie. But if you guys click on the thumbs up down there, I'd very much appreciate it. We can get lots of folks in here. We're at 19 likes so far. Chris. All right, Chris. Nice to see you. Palm Springs, Diane. Definitely jealous. Definitely jealous of you. Thank you for the likes. While we're here hanging out, you're in Pittsburgh. Well, you'd appreciate this, Deborah. You got yourself a Steelers fan here. Well, as folks are coming on, if anyone has questions about anything, if you don't know who I am, maybe you do. My name is Jamie Selzler. I am here just to share my weight loss journey with you. Maybe you found me on TikTok. I go live on TikTok as well. If you're finding me over there, you know I can't answer a whole lot of questions about stuff, but I really have enjoyed YouTube because I can just take longer to answer questions. You saw me on Downsized, Jude. I cannot tell you how much I love the folks at Downsized. Christopher and Lorraine are amazing. I met them last year at the Obesity Action Coalition, which was fantastic. Their community is amazing. So I'm glad for those of you who found me over there. I appreciate it. I'm often on TikTok. So on TikTok, I'm following over there, but I find that a lot of people don't do TikTok and YouTube. Hey, Becky. You did the thumbs up. Thank you, Deborah. Yeah, we have 25 thumbs up so far. That's awesome. Leanne, I really enjoyed doing the workout video. You know, it's interesting when I did it, and you'll see this, I was a little out of breath a few times. And typically when I'm working out, I'm not out of breath. But I realized normally when I'm working out, I am not talking the entire time like I do on this workout video. So as I was editing, I'm like, why was I so out of breath? Like, I'm never out of breath working out. And I'm like, oh, of course, you're just talking nonstop. Today, I did a walk. I did was it 6.5 mile walk with a friend of mine. And typically I walk alone. And so when I walk, I never talk ever because I'm by myself. But I was with her the whole time and I was talking the whole time. And went really fast, was like 18-minute miles, which is pretty fast for me. And as I'm a certified personal trainer, and that's what this is here, my certifications. And the talk test is a real thing. If you're working out and talking, you can still talk, but you're having to catch yourself a little bit. That's a good workout. Chris, you found me in a classroom at Grand Forks. Oh, oh, that's you, Chris. Chris, I don't think of you as a grandpa. I don't think of you as a grandfather. It's funny that you're Grandpa Gearhead. That makes sense for what you're into. Hey, Nancy. Yeah, you were lifting yesterday. You weighed over it. You sneezed strongly. Um, I don't have a ton of experience on that, Nancy, but I certainly can look into it if you want to shoot me a message to see what I can do in terms of give you some advice. That's crazy. How much weight were you lifting over yourself when you sneezed? Hey, Ronnie. Jude, yeah, happy to tell you about my medication journey. So, um, yeah, Michaela, the week's been really good. So, for those who are kind of new to me, so my heaviest was 652 pounds, and I use Zepbound, tirzepatide, but I use the name brand Zepbound. I'm currently on 15 milligram. So I'll kind of go over my history with you. My heaviest weight was 652 pounds. I started this process just over 3 years ago. So July 2022. And I started with no medication. And prior to that, in the past, for medication, I'd used phentermine. I'm not sure if others here have used phentermine before. But I had a doctor, not an obesity specialist, a doctor who started me on phentermine, and I did not like it. It made me feel incredibly wired. It is a hardcore stimulant, and ended up getting AFib, and I think it was related to the phentermine. Eventually, AFib went away, but I'd also lost weight multiple times before with every diet, like many of folks here. You name the diet, I did it. Probably the most successful weight loss I had was with Optifast. Um, uh, and so, if you guys know that, it's like meal replacement bars and shakes. And so, I did this medical weight loss program with my doctor at the hospital, and I would do you do meal replacement bars and shakes and like lean cuisines. And I lost like 100 pounds in a few months, but every week you had to go and weigh in front of everyone. And my ego was so much that like I could not allow myself uh, to gain with people watching me. And so I did that. I lost a lot. I moved to Seattle for work and gained all of it back just as fast as I lost it. So I lost 100, gained 100 in 6 months, and lost a lot of muscle in the process, and ended up gaining fat back. Eventually, 3.5 years ago, after all these years of trying, I decided to really make an effort. I lost 50 pounds, no medication. And then I started GLP-1 July 26, 2023. And I remember that because it was my birthday. And a lot of people start New Year's resolutions. I always did birthday resolutions. And it was always a case where on my birthday, I realized like I would make a goal to myself, like, I don't want to ever feel this way ever again. Uh, and uh, and so this one, I actually said I planned ahead of time and got a medication, got an obesity specialist, and I started with Wegovy. And I did not lose anything my first 3 months till I got to the much higher dose, to the max dose. Then I was losing fine. I was on Wegovy for 6 months, and then there were shortages. For those of you who remember, like back in end of 2023, beginning of 2024, there were insane shortages. You could not get the name brand medications anywhere for anything, Wegovy or Ozempic. And so I was going to try to grab Ozempic because it's, essentially the same thing. But I couldn't get it anywhere. A lot of people at that point started going to compound pharmacies, and I did not, mainly because my doctor was able to switch me to Zepbound. And so I switched over to Zepbound, and that worked great. Wegovy was working great as well. And I've now been on Zepbound since the beginning of 2024. So 2 years and 3 months. In terms of uh, the dose, I moved up every single month. I've been at the max dose of Zepbound for 2 years now. For about 2 years, I've been at the max dose of Zepbound, 15 milligrams, and I've lost a total of 370 pounds now, about 370 pounds, and 320 of that was with the GLP-1. So that's a little bit of my medication journey for those who asked. Your husband, that's awesome, Jude. How do you message me, Nancy? I'll have to figure out how to message. You can also just comment on one of my videos too, and I will remember, and I'll figure out how to message you here. I'm still new to YouTube, so, or if you find me on, like, if you're on anywhere else, Instagram or whatever, or you can go to my website, jamiesalzer.com, and message me there. Laura, phentermine felt like speed to you. It really did for me as well. Megan, did I have food noise with Optifast? I did. I had insane food noise with Optifast. In addition to the bars and shakes, I was eating, and I was meeting with the dietitian for all of this. I was eating, they had to do lean cuisines. So I was doing, like, the lean cuisines, which I kind of liked. I didn't actually hate the lean cuisine frozen meals. They were not bad. And I would do that, and then vegetables. I would do like stir fry vegetables a lot. And it was not terrible. I still had really bad food noise, but I can remember some specific times, like going out with coworkers to Buffalo Wild Wings, and I remember I got 6 boneless wings, and I I felt like I was breaking the laws of the world by getting uh, that. And then around that same time, I remember we had the Super Bowl, and I ordered a pizza in the Super Bowl, and I had like 2 slices of this pizza at the Super Bowl in my house just by myself, and was so horribly guilty about it, because anytime I had anything like that, it immediately triggered insane amounts of food noise. The Optimfast did nothing for the only thing that's ever stopped my food noise is a GLP-1. Yeah, Diane, I'm still losing on the 15 milligram. I think that a lot of people think that a GLP-1 wears off after you're on the max dose for a while. So a lot of people are terrified of going to the max dose because they think that there's a expiration date on it, but there's no science that shows that. There's no evidence that it stops working. What I think happens, I'm guilty of this as well. I think that when you are first starting, there's the novelty of this, you have excitement of this, where you're losing weight, and especially if you're doing it somewhat rapidly at the start, which many people do, at least compared to what they've lost before. It's really exciting to lose weight. It's very fun at the beginning. And then after a while, the novelty wears off. Both the novelty of a GLP-1 wears off, and then the excitement of weight loss wears off. I think part of why many of us, maybe you, me in this community, why we seek out things like on YouTube or elsewhere, is it allows us to stay connected mentally to the excitement and novelty of the beginning, is what I think happens. And so we educate ourselves, we find community with others, because I think there's almost this thing where if I keep this as part of my life and my community and the stuff I talk about, I'm going to keep the excitement going. And whether we're doing that on purpose or not, I think that's why a lot of us are here. And that helps. But weight loss is really boring. This is a 5-year process for me from beginning to end. I view end as skin surgeries done, healed. And so I'm about 3.5 years into this now, just over. I'll have skin surgery later this year. And weight loss is really boring. It's super boring. It is making the same boring decisions over and over and over for a very long time. And if you take the excitement and novelty of the medication and the rapid weight loss, if that goes away, and then you enter in the boredom of this taking a long time, those things together, unless you are really working hard on your habit change and lifestyle change, unless you've really worked hard at that, it is so easy to regress to old habits, to the old ways of doing things. And even though I've changed everything, I still struggle with this. I think it's so easy to start testing boundaries, to say, well, I'm going to try this or do this. Cause I used to do this. Like I used to spend like a Saturday where all I would do is sit on the couch and watch movies. I watched 8 movies in a row. And, I had a day like that a few months ago where I did the same thing again. It's the first time in years I've done it. And I think we almost subconsciously start testing boundaries. And if you start combining medication is not exciting anymore, weight loss is boring, old habits seem comfortable, and I test boundaries, you put all that together, it is a recipe for regain on a GLP-1, which is why for those of us who want to be successful with this, it's really important for us to have a community of people who understand that. And uh, I really like it. Like I have a group on Facebook called Jamie's Wellness Circle, and I see the same thing actually in the downsized live chat on here. It's people cheering each other on. Like someone's saying, I just started, or I've lost this much, or I had this non-scale victory. And I love that. I love when that happens because it brings me back to that excitement and it reminds me of all the good that I've done. So sorry, this is why I like YouTube though. I can just sort of go slow and answer questions. Your mom's doing it now. Oh God, those 800 calorie a day, Michaela, is so dangerous. I mean, obviously if a doctor's approving it, but even them. Hey Jeff, when the dopamine well runs dry from early losses, NSVs, community fuels to keep going. Yeah, I love that. I think it's important for me as well. Chris says the community is incredibly useful. You're not going through the ups and downs alone. That's exactly right. By the way, Grandpa Gearhead, I've known him for, God, has to be well over 20 years, 25 years. So, and he's a good guy, good community. You've done great. Really amazed with you, Chris. Chris, I don't think you're on a GLP-1 though, are you? You're losing your whole medical insurance trying to figure out if nothing else can try to get into compound. Deborah, the insurance situation really sucks. The value is, I mean, not value. I think we're going to see a few things happen over the next maybe 9 months. I think we're going to start seeing medication prices drop significantly, even more than they already have. And I think we're going to start seeing more insurance providers picking up coverage. So it doesn't help you today. You got to do whatever is best for you today, but don't lose hope that down the road it'll get a little bit better. There are many of us who are working, lobbying Congress and state legislatures on trying to improve access as well. Travis, you missed something about the journey because you're in maintenance and losing weight. You're drawn to YouTube now for some sort of confirmation on the right path. Travis, very well said, Travis. That's a fantastic way of looking at it. By the way, if you guys have not clicked the thumbs up down there, I would love if you would. I'd really appreciate if you would. Laura, you hit 10 pounds yesterday, but 2 months since starting, you've been grazing all day. The grazing can be really dangerous. I mean, not that we shouldn't do it. We should just be really careful as we do it. I do it too sometimes. Dan, you needed to start tracking again. You know, it's interesting. I have to weigh, measure, and track everything. Like, I mean, like I just had dinner and, I use Chronometer. I don't know if you can see it here. Like, this is, if you use Chronometer, like these are all my calories and items and all that stuff today. And you just sort of have to do it. At least I have to do it. I wish I didn't. I wish I didn't have to track, but for me, a GLP-1 has never suppressed my appetite. I still get hungry. I have a built puff bar here because I'm sure I'm going to want to eat something at some point. I still get hungry. I don't have the food noise, but I've always gotten an appetite. And so for me, if I don't actively weigh, measure, and track, I can very easily go over. I could eat a whole large pizza. I don't. I choose not to, but I physically could. So there are folks out there, who just have zero appetite, and that is not me. Alice's insurance refuses to cover. I'm glad you found something that works for you, Alice. I don't do compound. Mainly, I'm not an affiliate. I don't sell anything, but I believe people got to do whatever you got to do to access it for sure. Just be careful about the gray market. Just be careful if you do that. Thanks, Miss Kimco. I really like being on YouTube live. Chris, you just quit using your injuries as an excuse to do better. Well, I'm glad that you're doing great. I love watching all your workout stuff. Hey, Sherry Lynn, nice to see you. You can see and hear me perfect. Nancy, yeah, I mean, I have strong opinions about all that other stuff, Nancy, politics and religion and all that, but I really firmly believe that what I care more about than anything is that people deserve love and respect, and especially when it comes to this stuff. And you use Nourish. Oh, that's great. I hear I don't use Nourish. I hear Nourish is wonderful. You have to take pictures of all your food. I have not used the AI for food tracking yet, but I think that might be my next thing to try. I think Chronometer actually has a AI tracking method, if I'm not mistaken. Sherry tracks because you want to get enough protein. I think that's a great reason to track for sure. Hey, Audra. You do, Jeff. Yeah, I have to do that more. In my case, I pretty much, for the most part, eat the same stuff all the time. So I just have favorites. So it's really easy for me to track. Hey, Beth, how are you? So your shot was super strong last week, and this week, nothing. Has that happened to you before? Jude, how much protein a man who wants to get to 200 pounds should be per day? So generally, you're going to want to look at like uh, zero point 0.7 to 1 gram per pound of goal body weight. And so in for a 200-pound man, I would look probably in like, if I were helping someone figure that stuff out, I'd probably look at like 150 to 180 grams maybe. But you can go search a TDEE calculator and put your own numbers in to do that. But it's also important, like the quality of the protein you're getting. Like I do shakes and bars. Obviously, I have a Built Puff Bar here, but I would definitely try to focus getting the protein in actual food, like real food. Sean, it is very hard getting used to a new platform. I meant to use StreamYard. I paid for StreamYard, which allows you to stream to YouTube. And this is like what Downsize does, where they have like the questions on the bottom and the pictures and stuff. I just didn't figure it out in enough time to go live. I didn't want to make you guys wait longer. So what I'm probably going to do after this live ends, I might go live again just to test StreamYard, just for a few minutes to test it out. Kraj likes the tip about noting down little non-scale victories along the way. You didn't realize how many you forgot to tell your wife told you a bunch. Thanks for bringing that up. Yes, Jude, it's by goal weight, by the goal body weights where you do for your protein. In terms of what he's talking about, or what they're talking about here with the non-scale victories, is especially during the weight loss journey, it can. I have a book, like a book of wins, a little success book, where I write down every single non-scale victory I have, every one of them. I still do this. I've been doing this for years now. Even if it's tiny or not a big deal, I I write them down. And at first, there were things like I saw light and up my feet in my car. I didn't know there was a light in the bottom of the car. I remember one of the first things I wrote was the time that I walked from my car to my apartment, which is 500 steps, and I walked without stopping. And so I really encourage you, if you've not started this, to write down all of those wins. Keep them going. Because when you have those moments where you feel like you're failing, because you're human and we all feel like we're failing sometimes, it's great to go back and look at that list of wins and say, oh, I did this, I did that. And it reminds you that you've really come a long way, and it can help you get through some of those bad days. So go back. You could start it now. And I encourage you to use actual pen and paper, not like a Notes app. Notes app is better than nothing. But there is something about writing things down, putting a pen or a pencil in your hand and putting that to paper. As you write it, it really does imprint it into your brain. And I encourage people to do that to keep track of their wins. You think I have PTSD from all the years of Weight Watchers tracking? I did not, Vicky. I have not used Weight Watchers, but I have heard horror stories about Weight Watchers. You guys know Kim Carlos from the Plus Size. I think she's talked a bit about that. It is brutal. Michaela, yep. Once I get comfortable with StreamYard and how this works, I intend on streaming to YouTube and TikTok at the same time. The thing is they're very different in terms of what I can say. Like I can sit here and talk about my food all day long here, but anytime on TikTok I bring up food, I get, even if I'm giving good healthy advice, I get restricted immediately. So I may start going live on both at the same time, and at some point stop the TikTok and stay here. Because when I'm on YouTube, I want to focus here because I really prefer this method where, we just sort of take time hanging out with each other and that kind of stuff. Lisa says that old habits can slip back even with weight loss surgery. Surely can't chew gum and walk at the same time. Jude, is that how you broke the stall? Or the plateaus you started tracking? I think it is not uncommon for people to feel like they are eating, or they often people are not aware that they're eating more than they actually are. And so when I have, if you follow me, you'll see I have a video I posted a few weeks ago that's 20 minutes long about stalls and plateaus. I really encourage you to check it out, especially if you're in a stall or plateau now. But if you are wanting to prevent them, if you're just starting, go give it a watch. And I go over the 8 things that have caused me stalls. And I think the 2 most common for me are, 1, food related. It is going out to eat. For me, at my larger size, the meal delivery and going out to eat was my ultimate like nightmare. I could not control myself, and so uh, I find that even now I begin to stall or regain if I'm eating out more frequently than I have throughout the journey. So now as I go out to eat, I'm having to be really careful about what I eat. And I did not have to do that for much of the last couple of years. Because I was bigger, your metabolic rate's just higher. And so my body could handle the excess, if you do really high excess calories in a meal. And I still do that, but you know, every couple of weeks is better. If I'm going to go out every week or twice a week, which I have been doing the last few months, then now I have to be really mindful. Like, okay, I can't eat what I was eating before. I have to be very careful. That's the one thing that causes me stalls. And then the second big thing is sleep. Now, I'm a certified personal trainer. I do nutrition coaching and wellness coaching. I've been coaching 14 people the last 2 months, where these are folks who signed up. They were picked randomly, and they signed up in my Facebook group. And I've been doing weekly coaching with them, personal training, talking about nutrition, talking about just overall wellness. And I've been coaching these 14 folks. I think all of them, with the exception of 1 or 2, are now losing weight more quickly than they had been, which really makes me happy that we're able to sort of get their weight loss moving for most of them. And a big factor in multiple cases is sleep, where they wanted, like, let's do meal planning and a workout plan and all that stuff. And I respond by saying, how about you pick a time to go to bed every night and a time to wake up every morning, and just that's the only change you're going to make. Because my philosophy for coaching is about making one change at a time, not changing a whole bunch of stuff at once. And every single person who fixes their sleep sees a dramatic improvement, not only in how they feel, but in the scale and their weight loss. And I think a big part of that is, 1, because our sleep getting messed up can really mess up our hormones and how our body burns fat. But if you're fatigued, if you're tired because your sleep's all messed up, you're also just not going to move as much. You're not going to walk as much. And it's easier to make poor eating choices if you're tired. So for those who are in a stall, if you find that you're not getting 7+ hours of sleep a night, and you find that there's a 3-hour time band between when, some nights you're going to bed at 10, some nights you're going to bed at 1, whatever, fix that first, and you might find some great results. Jeff, I'm curious about that. We'll have to find out about the streaming key. Yeah, and Jeff, certainly eating out does increase the sodium intake, and I work really hard to keep my sodium intake low. Over the course of time, the sodium doesn't really make a difference because it's not going to cause you to gain more fat. The sodium does make huge swings in the short term, though, in a few days. Yeah, Alice, not in a stall yet, not in a stall. But I'm glad that walking can also be really helpful, Alice, for sure. Sherry says, Jamie, the sleep was a problem. Since that changed, everything is better. Sherry knows what she's talking about. Sleeping is huge. Vicky has a suggestion about checking the menus beforehand. Fantastic idea, Vicky. Some of these people are raving about Coach Jamie and how lucky they were to be selected early. They were. Oh, that's nice. I've really enjoyed the coaching a lot. In fact, I'm going to now start offering coaching to everyone who wants it. I'll put it out this weekend. I'm struggling with my website, so I gotta finish it. Where I'll basically people can hire me for coaching, and we can do like a one-time thing. Like either you are just starting a GLP-1 or you are really struggling and you want some help figuring out like what the next best steps are for you, how to make changes, come up with a basic nutrition plan, come up with a basic workout plan. And I'll offer that. And then I'll also offer ongoing coaching. So if someone wants like a weekly personal training, I can do that, or every other week. So I'm going to try to do it. Basically, everything I do right now on YouTube and TikTok, and I do a lot of content between those two. I'm going to keep doing that. And any coaching I do is basically going to say, all right, here's all the stuff I'm providing. Let's figure out how to make that apply for you specifically. So I'm kind of excited about that. Callie, you said I still always feel hungry, but is the food noise better? You get full sooner now. The food noise is better. I don't have food noise. I can't recall a time I've had food noise in the past couple of years. I do get full faster. Yeah. But I can eat through being full if I wanted to. Sarah, no more alcohol to break the stall. Well, you're welcome, Sarah. Alcohol, and I still occasionally drink, alcohol is bad for weight loss because when you drink alcohol, all of your body's metabolic processes, all of them stop and focus entirely on burning the alcohol. And there's no nutrition out of it. And so when you're drinking, especially if you're having any sort of significant amount, when you're drinking alcohol, it just stops all your other weight loss. And the problem is that when drinking, that means everything you're eating is just not really getting digested, but it's really not fueling your body. It's just going to storage, and storage is fat. That's what fat is. It's just storing it's stored energy. And so drinking causes, one, means that your metabolism stops for everything else. Two, it means that anything you eat is going right to your fat storage. And three, if you've been drinking, it's so much easier to make poor choices in terms of what you're eating. So those things together combine for not great results. Not to drink shame. I still have drinks occasionally, but I do it now like aware, like, okay, like I know what I'm doing. Not great. Alice, your sleep is a mess. Alice, I don't think if your sleep is a mess, that's not part of the problem, Alice. That is the problem. The issue though for you and others, especially those with kids or caregivers for adults, is it is hard to create a consistent sleep schedule if you're in a situation where you don't get to control your own sleep. So do the best you can, and hopefully with time the situation improves so you can get better sleep. TM Deb, do you think we substitute one compulsive behavior for another, like compulsive tracking for compulsive overeating? Yeah, I think there's a good chance. Like in my case, I had a food addiction. I was obsessed with food. I think that I've now replaced that with working on not necessarily a specific weight loss, but more fitness, muscle, stuff like that. So I think certainly we can substitute, these whatever they call transfer addictions or whatever. I think that's certainly possible. Bella, welcome. You passed, Bella. Congrats. Yeah, do a little YouTube live. If you guys have not clicked the thumbs up down there, would love if you click the thumbs up. Megan said, lack of sleep did you in over the last 10 years. Oof, me too. Thanks, Amanda, for saying I'm an amazing coach. I like the folks I'm coaching are all in here. Travis, how strict am I with sodium? We've been trying to stay near 1500. Basically, rules. I am pretty strict with sodium, Travis. I shouldn't say, pretty strict. I still eat out. I still I know that my sodium intake is high when I do that, especially eating out. When I'm at home, though, I work really hard. So if I have an option for a low sodium something, I do it. Like tonight, had taco bowls. I use low sodium taco seasoning. If I'm using if I'm doing meal prep like chili or something, I get the low sodium whatever. I don't put salt itself on anything. I I use something called no salt, like it sounds, and it's a potassium substitute, and it tastes very similar to salt, not exactly the same, but very similar. And so I try to minimize my sodium and I maximize my potassium. And I I supplement with potassium. I've done it this whole time. It's been very effective for me to sort of keep my electrolytes and my water in balance. And so for that, the no salt that I use is potassium. I use pepper, which is potassium, and uh, I drink Ultima Replenisher or micro ingredients. A lot of people want to get your electrolytes in. Electrolytes aren't super necessary unless you're working out a lot. We generally get enough within the food that we're eating, but a lot of people go and get electrolytes and they get something like Element or Liquid IV, and those are just sodium. It's just sodium. And I think we already get a lot of sodium in our diets naturally. So when I do electrolytes, I specifically get potassium electrolytes, and that balances out some of the water. And if there's a day where I have had a lot of sodium just based on something I ate, I will increase what I drink for potassium electrolytes to balance out the sodium that I've had. Becky, you feel much better if you get better sleep. Yeah, the sleep can make a huge difference. Jeff wants to avoid alcohol. For you, the downsides of your goals make you avoid alcohol. Yep. Yeah, exactly. I mean, the thing is, everyone has to make a decision for themselves. Um, but I think avoiding it generally is better for most. Uh, I know a lot of people on a GLP just don't desire to drink. So I still do though. I mean, I'll grab a couple of beers with friends, stuff like that. That's right, Chris. Got to replace those mindset. Dom, my coaching options are really three coaching options. One is a one-time coaching. I think that'll be like 129, and that's really like an individualized. Let's sit down for an hour. Uh, I'll I'll get info ahead of time to just save time, so that way we're not having to use the meeting to go over basics. I can use that time really to problem solve. And if it's someone new to GLP, I'll talk to you like, let's talk through how this works. And if it's someone who's already been on it and they're having struggles, we'll talk through that. And then in the coaching, we'll go over some basic nutrition stuff, answer questions about that. And then because I'm a certified personal trainer, I'll create a basic workout plan that you can use. And then after the coaching, I'll send you a PDF document that's basically everything that I'm teaching. And so that way someone can have something to reference back to. So I'll do that for coaching. And then for ongoing coaching, I think the 2-week coaching, so every other week is 249, which is significant. And the monthly is, I think, 479, or not monthly, the weekly is 479, which is expensive, but for personal training, it's relatively cheap. Actually, most personal training is quite a bit more expensive. And that stuff comes with highly personalized planning. You can text me questions anytime. If someone needs accountability, like an accountability partner where like I walk you through, if you tell me you did this or you did that, I can provide advice or support as we go. But that's what my coaching's about. I've not launched it yet, but Jude, your sodium was low on your blood test. Oh, interesting. I've not seen that. So what are the potassium electrolytes and where can we find them, Callie? So I have one right here. Ultima Replenisher is one of them. So if you guys have heard this is a little bit more accessible. You can definitely get this one on Amazon or TikTok or whatever, or wherever really. I'm sure that Walmart has them as well. The other one is micro ingredients, which I don't have. They're behind me in my cabinet. Micro ingredients is the other one. And I kind of alternate between two. Micro ingredients is good, much cheaper. So, and I don't know, I get mine on TikTok. I don't know where else you can buy micro ingredients. Probably they have a direct website, I'm sure. Becky says, if you have heart issues, make an appointment with a dietitian who knows the best advice. 100%, Becky, especially as it relates to electrolytes. Electrolytes can cause heart issues if they are too far out of balance. So I really encourage people when they're starting this stuff to talk with a registered dietitian who can look at your blood work and help you decide what's best for you. A, a nutritionist or nutrition coach, which I am, ethically cannot write a meal plan for you. We cannot say, here's what you should eat. If you ever have someone who's not a registered dietitian telling you this is how you should eat and here's what your diet plan should be, run, because they may be qualified for themselves to help themselves. They are not technically qualified to give you something. So please be very cautious of who you're taking nutrition advice from, because if you overdo it on protein, there's potential for issues, especially related to your kidneys. If you are already having issues with your kidneys or with your heart, and someone tells you to pump up your protein or pump up your electrolytes, then you could be setting yourself up for some pretty nasty effects. So I really encourage people to talk with a registered dietitian. A nutritionist, what I do, a nutrition coach can certainly give some general advice, can help you understand things like food labels, can help you come up with various ideas like, all right, so you needed more protein. Here are different protein options. Like, here's how you can get more protein. That's what a nutrition coach or nutritionist should be doing. But only a registered dietitian can sort of prescribe a meal plan for you. But good call, Becky. And often the insurance will cover dietitian visits, at least initially. My dietitian, if you guys know Summer the dietitian, that's my dietitian. Like through Vineyard, I use Vineyard Health for mine, and they're great. They're awesome. Amy, your sodium was low and your blood test, doctor recommended Element. Yeah, Element, exactly right. If your sodium's low, Element's fantastic as a electrolyte supplement. Amanda, flavor of Ultima do I like? I like the orange one. So I have the Ultima little packets here for when I'm traveling, but generally when I'm home, you can buy them at least on Amazon. I don't know if I've seen them on TikTok, but on Amazon, you can buy the Ultima Replenisher that are like little jar things, the twist top, and I do the orange or lemonade for the Ultima. I love the Ultima. By the way, everyone should take a drink with me, by the way. You know, Megan, I'm not a grape fan. I've never liked grape for drinks. But for those who like grape, I'm sure it's fantastic. I'm always more of a citrusy kind of orange or lemonade kind of person. Welcome, by the way. If you guys don't know me, if you're just joining, if I'm just popped up on your YouTube, my name is Jamie Selzler. I have lost 370 pounds. My highest weight was 650. And I use a GLP-1 medication. I use one called Zepbound, which is the same thing as Mounjaro, if you know what that is. So I've lost 170 pounds, but along the way, I've really tried to change my life, my lifestyle, my habits, all of that stuff. And I now a certified personal trainer. I'm certified through the National Academy of Sports Medicine. I'm a certified nutrition coach and wellness coach, also with NASM. And I just have a lot of experience on my own losing weight. And I'm here essentially, I create content to try to help people. So if you look through my account, I have videos about if you're just starting a GLP-1, how do you be successful? If you are, I put a workout up this week. So if you're starting a workout from home, I'm posting workouts we can do together. Generally brief enough, 30 minutes that most folks can do it. I'm a huge believer in creating things that are accessible. Because I was 650 pounds and have tried to work out even at my larger sizes, I'm aware that it's not easy to do for everyone. And if you search YouTube, for example, and look for at-home workouts, they are there. There's bazillions of them, but they're often made for people who are already pretty fit. Or I've kind of found two extremes. They're made for people who are already in great shape and can like pop down on the floor and pop back up, no problem. Or they are made for people who have extremely limited mobility where all they can do is sit on a chair and do nothing else. I think there are many of us who are in the middle, people who can't get up, down, get on the ground and pop back up like nothing, but people who can do more than sit. And so my content for working out is for folks like that. You've never worked out, you're just starting, you have no clue what to do. You do not know what to do. And even if you can do a lot of the workouts that are on YouTube, the problem is like they're not programmed for you. And so the workouts the one I made this week and those I'll continue to make going forward, I'm essentially creating those so that they're accessible and they are achievable, and they're programmed in a way that those who don't work out can do them. So, for example, the one I posted this week is a full body workout, meaning it works most of the muscle groups in your body, many of them anyway. And so that's the kind of content I'm creating to help people get their life back. My life is better in every single way since I've lost this weight, significantly better. And so I just now really want other people to feel what I'm feeling, physically, emotionally. That's exactly right, Becky. We all lose weight differently. Yeah, thank you, Sarah, for noticing. Hit the thumbs up button down there, guys. I appreciate it. Amanda, great shape or on the floor. I've had knee surgery, so kneeling's not a thing for you. Yep, kneeling can be really tough for folks. Yeah, thanks, Becky. If you guys have questions about anything, feel free to ask in the chat. If you are watching recording of this and you're like, why is he not answering my question? It's because you're watching a recording. I was not aware. I did this once before, and I've had people message me saying, why didn't you answer my question? And they were watching the recording. They did not know that it was recorded. Nancy, thoughts on multivitamins? You learned that Centra makes a nutrient replenish dedicated GLP-1 users. So my view on any supplements, including multivitamins, is, and I'll tell you about what I do, but before I tell you that, you should talk with your doctor about any supplements that you might need. And blood work can help your doctor determine that. So we'll see. Last time, this happened to me before, and I had to refresh the screen. So am I back? Maybe? Yes? No? Perfect. Yeah, this happened before. So weird. I've only done live ones before, and you lost the sound, and I just had to hit the refresh, which takes my video down and brings it back up, and then it worked. That was odd. Now Amanda says no sound. Thank you for bearing with me as I'm new to YouTube and trying to figure this stuff out. So this is where some people say they hear me. Now you can't hear me. Okay. Oh my God. Some of you can, some of you can. If you... you may have to refresh your screen. So maybe there's something that with YouTube that caused all of us to lose our sound. Okay. All right. Thank you for all the engagement. By the way, if you have not yet hit the little thumbs up down there, go for it. Yeah, if you can't hear me, you might have to refresh your screen, everyone. You thought, because we're talking supplements. I'll be back here. We'll talk about supplements in a second. Take a drink, everyone. It's so weird. So weird. Maybe once I figure out the StreamYard thing, it'll work. You'd listen to me read the phone book. What I can do, I'll read Gianna's book, Gianna the dietitian, Gianna Beasley's book. I can just sit here and I can read 175 GLP-1 tips. Pretend that they're mine, that I made up for them. I made them up. Perfect. All right. Well, if you can't hear, well, what's funny, if you can't hear me, I was going to say refresh the screen, but if you can't hear me, you wouldn't hear me say that. Thanks, Jude. I appreciate it. All right. We're talking about supplements. Someone asked a question about supplements. So talk with your doctor about any supplements that you might need. If your body doesn't need them, they're really just a waste of money. You literally just urinate out the supplements. And so you may not need any supplements. So talk with your doctor, get your blood work done, and then they will tell you if you are deficient in anything. Many doctors are going to tell you do multivitamins, and I think that's fine. I do multivitamins. I used to do Centrum. The problem is that if you want to get clinically effective doses, you often need more than just like the one tablet. And so I use a supplement that's called Legion Athletics. And that's what I use. And it's 8 of them. Like my multivitamin is 8 capsules per day because it's clinically effective doses of a bunch of stuff. And so your doctor will probably tell you which one they like. And Centrum, I think, is often fine. But there are many doctors who are going to tell you don't use a multivitamin because you don't need it, because you're fine. And then don't use a multivitamin. But I use a multivitamin. I use fish oil and I do creatine. But again, talk with your doctor. Don't waste your money if you don't need them. Becky, I live in Fargo, North Dakota. Thank you, Jude. Your doctor told you yesterday to stop your B vitamins. Yeah, Jude, often that's a problem for multivitamins. It'll cause our B vitamins to just be off the charts high. And so if you are already using a multivitamin, I suggest that before you go in for your blood work, for your doctor's appointment, stop taking your unless your doctor has told you you should take this. I encourage you to consider stop taking the multivitamin. Of course, reach out to your doctor ahead of your appointment and say, "Hey, I already take a multivitamin. Do you want me to take it or not?" But one way for them to know what your needs are is to not have you take them. So check with your doctor first. But in my case, I stopped taking them 3 or 4 days before I go in for my blood work, just to get what my actual baseline is. Chris, your doctor told you not to bother multivitamin, and you were doing Thorne are great, but again, you take a lot of them. And Amy's doctor doesn't recommend multivitamins either. Chris, you do creatine and vitamins D and K. Be careful of the wood chipper. You know what, Diana? Here in Fargo, the wood chipper from the movie Fargo is actually here. You can go look at it. The original one from the movie is here. What I recommend for a senior citizen who's disabled and and immobile, and to get their weight down using GLP-1s. You have wins, but not very many throughout the last 6 months. Any tips? Well, I think my tips are the same or similar for everyone, Sherry Lynn. Whether or not someone is losing weight is primarily a factor of if they're being treated for any diseases they have, including obesity or metabolic disorders, insulin resistance. And once that's treated, what are they eating? What is their food intake like? Both the quality and the quantity. The physical aspect of this, you're working out, whether that be something like cardio or walking or resistance training, that's all very important. But that is just a sliver when it comes to weight loss. So, Sherry Lynn, I would focus my time on resources on really understanding what I'm eating. And if you have access to a dietitian, which your doctor may be able to get you to a dietitian that's paid for by Medicare, that would be an option that I would look at as well. But if you're using a GLP-1, it really should allow you to make better eating decisions. And if that might mean doing some tracking in the short term, something like that. In terms of immobility, There are workouts, there are things that even if someone is bedbound or chair bound, there are things that they can do for some workouts, unless they're fully paralyzed or quadriplegic. And you can look on YouTube for that. Look for chair exercises. I have a list I look at that is specifically made for senior citizens that is just in a chair and very, very accessible for folks. So that could be an option as well. Yeah, Jeff, I love you do the function tests. Yeah, and Linda, if someone's had bariatric surgery, and that's especially true if anyone's had bariatric surgery, absolutely talk with your doctor because of your surgery and because of the inability to eat, you often will become deficient in various nutrients. So if you've had a bariatric, please talk with your doctor about the vitamins that you're taking. Vicky, yeah, magnesium before bed can really help folks sleep. It can be super helpful to help people sleep. Amanda, if you're taking biotin for hair growth, stop that 5 days before blood work. That's right. Amanda had that experience, especially if you're getting your blood work done to test for any hormone deficiencies, or if you need to get on hormone therapy, you don't want to be using that. Sherry knows the protein powder I prefer. What are my thoughts on Rise or others that are easily accessible powders to store? Optimum Nutrition is what I use, and that is easily accessible as well. You can get that at Walmart, you can get that at GNC, whatever. I think Rise is probably fine. Be very careful with any supplement you buy, including protein supplements. Are you paying for the supplement or are you paying for Rise? Now, I like Rise protein, but they are sort of, and I have some, I have cookies and cream Rise. I actually make for Ninja creamy ice cream, so I have cookies and cream ice cream that's Rise powder. But my my general view when it comes to supplements, especially protein powders or drinks, the fancier and more colorful the label, the less quality you're going to find inside. And I think it's because those brands are using marketing to sell their product as opposed to the quality of the product. That's not true across the board, but I think of something like Ghost. Ghost protein is a great example of all marketing. You want to look at the labels of any products that you're using, particularly protein powder, and look for a label that says NSF. If it says NSF, you know that they've had theirs tested by a third party and it's a little bit more trustworthy. So look for that labeling and who they have it tested by, and that might be more effective. But I think Rise is fine. I use it. Levels, Chris, I don't think I know levels. I don't think I've seen that. Welcome all. Happy to answer questions if you have any. Great questions so far. Drink some water with me. Jeff, Flav City. I've done the Flav City. I was not a fan. Megan, I have not experienced allodynia. I know that others have, and it's not uncommon as a side effect on a GLP-1. I have not had it though. And those who've had it often talk about, they work with their doctor and decreasing the dose can make it go away. And then often they'll increase the dose later and they'll be fine. So maybe that'll be an option for you if you go back up. I have not had it. Hey, Julie. Callie, I've not. I need to get Clean Simple Eats. I know I can get it at Costco. I've not gotten it yet. I think, do they also? No, they're just protein. I'm thinking they don't have the overnight oats. Yeah, Julie, I'm excited to be on YouTube. I do, TikTok and YouTube, and I was on TikTok live earlier today, and I'm going to do a bit more of YouTube. Part of it, I need to get another 1,000 watch hours, so people can, so I can get memberships like Christopher and Lorraine have. I have memberships on all the plus sized, downsized, or plus size, downsized, Dave Knapp on the pen. I love supporting with those memberships over there. NutriCost pineapple whey protein powder. I love NutriCost. I do NutriCost HMB and creatine. I've not had their protein powder. Interesting, Bella. That's cool, Amy. I'm glad that there's something that works for those with IBS. Amy, you should tell us. I don't think I've talked with anyone who has IBS who uses a GLP-1. I'm curious what their experience is like and how that affects them. If it helps the IBS because it slows gastric emptying, or if it has some negative effect to it. Levels is clean and cheap in Costco. I should go check it out sometime. Well, if folks are just coming in, I do little intros every now and then. My name is Jamie. I have lost 370 pounds. I use a GLP-1 medication. I use one called Zepbound. Uh, and I like talking about it and sharing my story. My whole life now seems to exist in trying to help people uh, achieve some success. When I was at my largest size, I was really in a prison. My body was absolutely a prison, and I have broken out of it. I busted out of it, and my life is better in every way. Every aspect of my life has improved. Every aspect of my life has improved. And so I am really now here just to share my story and try to help others through my experience and by trying to help people with the community to support each other. So if you have questions, I'm happy to answer them. If you do not yet subscribe, please do. It's so weird to say subscribe, but that's what we do here on YouTube is we subscribe and hit the little thumbs up. We've had 60 thumbs up, which is great. Jenna, this feels so much more relaxed and conversational than TikTok. Yes. When I was first one on, at this point, I have about 85,000 TikTok followers. And so now when I go live, it's just a different experience because I'll have way more people in there. I mean, I'll have 200 people at a time. But because the nature of that social media, it's people scrolling, people are only in there. My average watch time is like 3 minutes, which means that on average, people are only in there for 3 minutes. And so I get the same questions a million times, and I'm fine answering them. I can answer the loose skin question 100 times an hour. I'm okay doing it. And because I think the person asking it's important to them and they don't know the answer. So I'm going to, treat their question like it's the first time I've been asked. But it's like crazy busy. When I first started on TikTok and you only have 5 people in there, this is what it was like. And I very much miss those days. So that's why I like YouTube. We can have a conversation and chat. So I'm really happy to be here. And so thank you, Jenna. It's been life-changing for you, Kate. Oh, you're on 4 meds. Now you're just 1. Good for you. You were taking 10 Imodium every day. Oh my God. When I think of Imodium, God, I've not thought about this in a long time. So I worked for Amazon for 20 years. Jeff, I don't share my workouts on the Heavy app. Maybe I should start doing that now that I'm a trainer. You can find me there, GFJAY. Imodium. So I worked at Amazon for like 20 years. And there was a few years where I lived in England and I would travel back between the US and the UK constantly. So about every 5 or 6 weeks, I was flying between London and Seattle, which is it's about a 10-hour flight to go from London to Seattle. And it's about an 8 or 9-hour flight to go from Seattle to London. And so I was flying constantly. And the bathrooms in those airplanes are really, really small. And I could get in there to like go number 1. But I would always take Imodium before my flights to prevent anything else from happening in the plane. And that was like a really shitty aspect of being my size. And so it's nice not to even think about Imodium. I've not have thought about Imodium in years because of that. Doing 10 a day, Kate, I'm so sorry. That must have brutal and expensive. Thank you, Jude. Callie, you eat the Bear Bells and Built Protein to get you enough daily protein. Yeah, I mean, I use them as a supplement. Like, I've been looking forward to my Built Puff strawberry and cream all day, so I'll do that at some point tonight. Megan, oh, fantastic. I'm glad that you've not had issues. Has the IBS improved since you've been on the GLP? Drink some water with me, everyone. We'll hang out here for another few minutes. Good for you, Megan. What I'm going to do after I end this live here in a little bit is I'm going to bring up StreamYard and I'm going to go live again for not long, just to test it, just to see how it works. So after I end the live here in a few minutes, you may, if you stick around, you'll see I'll be live again and I'll hang out for another few minutes. I just want to test how StreamYard works. Christopher Durham from the Downsize is helping me figure all this stuff out. He's awesome. He's helping me a lot. Chris, you go to the gym. What time is it there? 7 o'clock. By the way, if you guys have never been to a gym on a Friday night or Saturday night, if your gym's open, the best time to go. I love the people at the gym on a Friday and Saturday night. I love it. It's generally empty, but the people who are there, they're there because they love doing it, and it's a really cool vibe to be around. It's the least. I think gyms are generally not as judgmental as we expect them to be. A weekend night, they're the least judgmental on the planet because they are choosing to be there at a time when they could be doing lots of other stuff, and if you're there too, they just respect the hell out of you. Oh, it did. FDA limited. Interesting, Kate. People are all busy putting in calories at the bar. That's funny. Chris, that was me for many years, as you know. The later you go, the less the youngsters are there. I used to love going on a Saturday night years ago when I was first really started trying to work out at the gym, was early 2000s. And man, you go there at like 8 o'clock on a Saturday night. And I don't know, I just loved going there at that point. Hello, KZ Vup. How are you? You never knew a modem could get someone high. By the way, speaking about the gym, you guys, a lot of people are scared to go to the gym because when you are bigger, when you're a big person, you go through your life being judged. And I was judged constantly when I was 650 pounds. I'm sure I'm still judged by some. Certainly, I'm judged on Facebook from all the people attacking me this week saying I'm taking the easy way out. But when you're judged, when you're bigger, you're judged, and you feel like if you go to the gym, that you're going to be judged more because you think the gym is where like all the healthiest, fittest people are. And so they're going to judge you the most because they're in the best shape. And there's jerks everywhere, but it is actually the opposite. The gym is often where people are the most supportive because they understand how hard it is to do that. And so don't be scared of being judged at the gym. You might be surprised that you're judged there less than anywhere. It's so much harder to comment on the YouTube lives than TikTok, Melissa. What do you mean by harder? I'm guessing on YouTube you have to be logged in, which is part of it. Yeah, me too, Chris. Don't judge. Jeff, you like showing up as a bigger body in the gym? People are friendly and helpful. Yeah. I like that I'm going to call you Grandpa too. You've lost 30. Congratulations. You do the bar. There was one that was nearby that closed, and you do Pilates. I've thought about trying Pilates. There's a Pilates studio right below me. I mean, I'm on the top floor of my building. There's a Pilates studio on the ground floor. I've thought about going just for 1 or 2 sessions just to experience it. Kayla, are you still nervous to go, Kate? Go for 5 minutes because you can go and leave right away. Just experience it. The keyboard pops up. It's just different. Oh, interesting, Melissa. What was I going to say? Oh, I am, as you know, or maybe you don't know, I'm a certified personal trainer with the National Academy of Sports Medicine. And I'm doing a lot of work with them on helping educate trainers on folks with obesity. And so I am flying to Phoenix this week, where I'll be filming content with them, videos that will be going out to trainers. And so, like some of the stuff we're going to talk about that tens of thousands of trainers are going to see over the next few months. If I can find it here. Here we go. Some of the stuff I'm talking with the trainers about are explaining things like, what do trainers not understand about obesity? What do those who have obesity want to see from a trainer? Uh, what are trainers missing? Um, what do side effects on a GLP-1 feel like? Trainers don't understand stuff like that. If you're a trainer and you have a client who's feeling stigma, they're feeling judged because they're using a GLP-1, how can you as a trainer help your client work through that? Stuff like that, that trainers don't necessarily have the knowledge for, and I'm going to help them do that. There should be a certification, so when you're looking to hire someone, that's exactly what I'm working on, KZ Up. So I'm working on a GLP-1 certification program for trainers, where trainers can get certified saying that they have learned about GLP-1 and working with GLP-1 clients specifically. I've taken the course and I thought I knew everything about GLP-1, at least the non-doctor stuff. And I have been shocked at how much I've learned about GLP-1. So the course is really good, but it's missing a client voice. And so I'm going to add that. And so there's some stuff we're working on in terms of like, how do you know which trainers near you are certified in GLP-1 and obesity clients? But that's the stuff I'm working on outside of this. And I think the National Academy of Sports Medicine is incredible. They're the premier certification agency for personal trainers in the world, including the United States. They have 120,000 plus trainers certified in the United States. And these are people who have to go through hundreds of hours of education before they can call themselves a certified personal trainer. And the National Academy of Sports Medicine is making a huge effort this year on educating their trainers on how to best serve people like us. And that's what I'm working with them on. And I'm really, really grateful for them doing all that. Becky, you have 2 gyms. Oh, you only have 2 gyms where you're at. You think more about the gray old hair women. You think more about me too. I think more about my hair now than my weight. That's right, Chris. Just focus on yourself. Yep, Beansty, training the trainers. That's exactly what I'm doing. Do I ever use self-deprecating humor as a coping mechanism, Nancy? Yeah. Nancy, those of us who've had obesity who are bigger are pretty good about self-deprecating humor, making fun of themselves. I've actually made some posts about this over on TikTok. I have always defaulted to making fun of myself before anyone else does. And in my head, I think I would do it, one, like, you can't make fun of me, I'm making fun of myself. But second, I was always aware that when you're very big, at least certainly when I was 650 or even 500 plus, which I've been since I was last 25 years, I've been at least 500 pounds. I'm aware that I always call myself a mind reader, that I could read people's minds. When they saw me, I knew what they were thinking. They didn't have to say anything. I knew they were looking at me and thinking, damn, that guy's big. Or he's very overweight, or whatever it is that you want to call about that. And so I would always try to immediately talk about my weight in a self-deprecating way to try to put them at ease. Chris said Jamie was very good at telling fat stories. Looking back, you see it now. Yeah, I mean, Chris, I've known Chris for over 20 years, and he's heard my stories. And so I would try to say things that would put people at ease about my size. And outside of this whole weight loss stuff, I'm very active in politics. And I've been active in politics since I was 15 years old. And I've given thousands of speeches, thousands of speeches in politics and in business. And until the last few years, 100% of my speeches had some sort of fat joke in the first minute. And that was always intentional. Like, you're looking at me, you think I'm huge. I'm going to tell you that I'm aware of this as well. We're going to put it up here. We're going to laugh about it and we're going to put it aside so you can listen to what I have to say without looking at me at my size. And that's why I was making self-deprecating jokes. And I did it with my friends as well. I did it all the time. And I don't really do that anymore for the most part. I'm still self-deprecating. I still make fun of myself. I think it's important for people to be able to laugh at themselves, and I do. But I don't make my weight the joke. I don't make myself the joke because of my weight anymore. I don't do that anymore. I still make jokes a little bit like, if you see me on TikTok at some point here, I'll be able to show it where I'll have like my before picture up here. And, it's me at 650 pounds. And I always talk about, maybe I'll find a picture here. When I go my second live, I'm going to test this out. Yeah. So like, this is me at my biggest, right? And so I'll put this picture up and then I'll make a joke. Oh, look how the lighting changes. The color changes. That's kind of cool. That looks much better lighting when I do that. Apparently that did a thing for a little while. That was much better before. Okay. Anyway, I point at that and I say, I know what you're thinking when you see a man that size, when you see a man, me at 650 pounds, and you're wondering, how is it possible that I could get so big and still be that sexy? And then I joke about, like, I don't know, scientists want to research me. They asked me to regain the weight so they can study me, and I refuse to gain the weight because I've worked so hard to lose the weight. That's sort of what I joke about. And that's about the closest I get to making jokes about my size now. But that's more kind of being silly than it is actually making fun of myself, because I actually do think I was sexy as hell when I was 650 pounds. Thank you, Becky. Catherine, way to go. You're down 30. Damn, and your A1C is great. You don't avoid, you embrace it now and spin it a positive. Yeah, that's right. Exactly, Chris. Jelly Roll lost a ton of weight. Jelly Roll lost weight with GLP-1. I don't care what Jelly Roll says. I don't care what Jelly Roll says. All right, you guys, 2-minute warning. I'm going to wrap up the live. Then I'm going to go live again just to test out StreamYard. So if you guys come back in a few minutes, you can test it out with me. Jude, I mean, I assume you did as well. I think that I'm not judging anyone. People are under no obligation to like tell anyone how they're losing weight. But I'm not a big fan of someone who's had obesity their whole life, dramatically loses weight in the course of a year and says, oh, I just decided to like have willpower now. Like, those of us who've truly struggled with this knows it's not like them. Bye, Chris. Have a great workout. By the way, please tell Tammy that I miss her, and I hope she's doing great. Nancy, your highest was 401. You're fortunate to have a wonderful grandfather who told you to never let your weight be the main thing to find you. Oh, it's so great to get that message when you're young, isn't it? It is hard to fight those thoughts, but that is amazing, Nancy. I'm so happy for you. Misses me too. She's the best. I worked with Grandpa Gearhart here and his wife many, many years ago. Many years ago, we worked together. All right, everyone, I'm going to end the live. I'll be back probably in about 3 or 5 minutes. I'm going to test StreamYard, and we'll test that out. By the way, if you guys want to be ever super helpful here, go watch some of my videos. I have a playlist that says watch me. If you click that, it just plays a whole bunch of my videos. Would love if you would do that. You're welcome, Becky. You're like Lorraine Durham. You're always sharing your GLP medication install. Me too, Becky. I have no shame. I've been getting into Facebook fights the last 2 days with people who keep saying I'm doing the easy way out. And I'm like, I know not everyone's going to be able to defend themselves. So I'm going to defend myself and people can live through me. So I like doing that. You have no shame. I love it. Yes, drink some water. I hate being told what to do, but if you ever tell me to drink water, I'll always do it. Thank you, Callie. I appreciate it. All right. Have a good night, everyone. I want to start going live on YouTube probably 2 or 3 times a week. Also, I'm going to start interviewing people for YouTube as well. So, and not just like doctors, whatever, like real people I've trained. I'm going to ask them if they want to be interviewed, and I'm just going to like have real stories of people talking about their story. So, if you do not yet subscribe, please do, because I'm going to be posting those. And if you want to start working out, I'm going to start posting regular workouts that you can follow along from home, and not little individual like do this lift, where you can just hit play and do a whole workout with me. And so give a subscribe if you're doing that. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your day. If you're watching this later and you have questions, feel free to comment and I'll answer the questions there as well. Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend. Happy St. Patrick's Day.